Brian Wilson, the Beach Boys' genius, turned melodies into timeless soundscapes, proving that obsessive perfection can reshape pop. Matthew Perry's quick wit lit up Friends, showing how comedic timing can turn a sitcom into cultural shorthand. Olivia Newton-John's soaring voice turned pop ballads into anthems, reminding us that emotional honesty fuels lasting hits. Loretta Lynn's steel-string stories of work and love carved a path for women in country music, a testament to relentless storytelling. Robbie Coltrane's towering presence on screen taught us that physicality and nuance together can dominate any genre. Val Kilmer's chameleon-like transformations across roles revealed the power of dedication to craft over celebrity. The world first noticed George Clooney when the camera lingered on his effortless charm in the emergency room of a 1990s television drama. Yet the moment the public realized the depth of his craft arrived years later when he stepped behind the camera to direct a modestly budgeted drama about a grieving widower in Hawaii. The film, The Descendants, opened on a quiet Tuesday night, and critics noted something uncanny. Clooney's direction was as precise as a surgeon's incision, his scenes composed with the same meticulous timing that had once defined his television beats. In the opening credits, the camera hovered over a Hawaiian shoreline, then cut to a close-up of Clooney's steady gaze, a visual promise that the story would be told with restraint, reverence, and relentless attention to detail. That restraint was not an accident. It was the product of a career built on habit. From his earliest days as a child actor in commercials, Clooney learned the value of repetition. He would rehearse a line until the cadence felt like a heartbeat, then discard the performance if it lacked authenticity. On the set of ER, where he played Dr. Doug Ross, he arrived early to study the hospital's rhythm, watching nurses move, listening to the hum of machines, and absorbing the environment so that his performance could blend seamlessly with the real world. He described the process in an interview. "You learn to respect the craft of everyone around you. If you're not prepared, you become the distraction." Preparation became Clooney's trademark. Before each take, he would dissect the script page by page, marking beats, noting subtext, and asking himself how the character's choices aligned with the larger narrative. When he approached the role of Danny Ocean in Ocean's 11, he didn't simply adopt the swagger of a suave thief. He studied the rhythm of con artists, the timing of a perfect heist, and the subtle interplay of trust and betrayal. He rehearsed the infamous casino scene with the same intensity a chess master applies to a critical move, ensuring every glance, every pause carried weight. The result was a performance that felt effortless, yet every effortless moment was the sum of countless deliberate choices. Clooney's dedication to craft extended beyond acting. In the early 2000s, he co-founded a production company with a simple, almost austere mission: to make films that mattered. The company's first major success, Good Night and Good Luck, was a black-and-white portrait of a television journalist confronting McCarthyism. Clooney chose to shoot in monochrome to echo the era's stark moral dichotomies, a visual decision that underscored his belief that every technical element should serve the story's core. The film's tight editing, restrained lighting, and deliberate pacing reflected a producer who saw the camera not as a gadget, but as a tool for truth-telling. When Argo entered the conversation, Clooney's role shifted again, from on-screen star to behind-the-scenes architect. He championed the project's authenticity, insisting on a script that balanced geopolitical tension with human drama. He worked with the director, Ben Affleck, to sculpt scenes that felt like real diplomatic investigations, urging the crew to rehearse the hostage exchange sequence as if it were a live operation. The film's Oscar win for Best Picture was a testament not only to its storytelling, but also to the disciplined framework that Clooney helped construct. The hallmark of Clooney's method is an unyielding curiosity about the mechanics of his art. He studies the work of directors he admires: Alfred Hitchcock's storyboarding, Stanley Kubrick's obsession with composition, and Akira Kurosawa's use of weather as narrative texture. In private workshops, he often asks his collaborators a simple question: what's the smallest thing we can change to make this scene stronger? That question drives a culture of incremental improvement, where even a single prop's placement or a subtle change in lighting temperature can transform a moment from good to unforgettable. Clooney's taste also shapes his career. He gravitates towards scripts that blend genre with social relevance, a pattern evident in Syriana, where global oil politics intersect with personal morality, and in The Midnight Sky, a sci-fi meditation on isolation and responsibility. He does not chase trends. Instead, he selects projects that allow him to explore the human condition through varied lenses. This selective approach keeps his body of work diverse yet cohesive, each film a study in how disciplined craft can illuminate complex issues. Even his public persona reflects a strategic consistency. Clooney's interviews are marked by measured humor and a willingness to discuss his process rather than his ego. He often emphasizes the collaborative nature of filmmaking, crediting editors, cinematographers, and even set designers for the final product. This humility reinforces a professional environment where each participant feels valued, fostering a culture where excellence becomes the norm rather than the exception. In recent years, Clooney has continued to push his creative boundaries while maintaining his signature work ethic. On the set of Babylon, a sprawling portrait of Hollywood's transition from silent to sound cinema, he spent weeks immersing himself in the era's vernacular, studying archival footage to capture the cadence of 1920s dialogue. He collaborated closely with costume designers, ensuring that his wardrobe reflected the period's subtle class distinctions, a detail that critics praised for its authenticity. Beyond the screen, Clooney's activism demonstrates the same disciplined approach he applies to his art. He co-founded a humanitarian organization that leverages film to raise awareness about global crises, producing documentaries that are meticulously researched and ethically presented. He treats advocacy as another form of storytelling, employing the same standards of accuracy, empathy, and narrative clarity that define his cinematic work. As of today, George Clooney remains an active force in Hollywood. He is currently in post-production on a thriller that explores the ethical dilemmas of artificial intelligence, a project that aligns with his long-standing interest in technology's impact on society. He continues to appear at festivals, not merely as a celebrity, but as a seasoned craftsman, discussing the evolving language of cinema. His career, far from reaching a conclusion, is a living laboratory where each new role each production, and each public statement adds another layer to an ever-expanding study of mastery. The narrative of George Clooney is not one of a completed legacy. It is a story of ongoing refinement. His journey from a child actor memorizing lines to a director who choreographs entire sequences illustrates how relentless practice, an unquenchable curiosity, and a disciplined respect for every facet of the filmmaking process can elevate an artist from competent to iconic. In the same way that the legends before him, Brian Wilson's meticulous melodies, Matthew Perry's razor-sharp timing, Olivia Newton-John's heartfelt vocals, Loretta Lynn's storytelling grit, Robbie Coltrane's commanding presence, and Val Kilmer's transformative dedication crafted their enduring influence, Clooney continues to shape his own, proving that the conversation between past mastery and present innovation is alive, vibrant, and still being written. His story reminds us that greatness is not a static monument, but a dynamic practice, constantly refined through rehearsal, collaboration, and an unrelenting pursuit of excellence. As the camera pulls back from his latest project, the image lingers on a man who still walks onto a set with the same quiet confidence that first caught the world's eye. The craft, the habit, the relentless pursuit. These are the threads that bind George Clooney to the legends before him, and they are the very reasons his narrative continues to unfold, chapter after chapter, in the living language of cinema.